Good morning. Let me turn on the chat here. Good morning, Pandora.
Good
How are
morning.
you? I have not seen you in so long.
I know, and I look horrible. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no.
You know what? I've really been slacking off, and I was just on Facebook, and I looked at the time, and it was like 2 minutes to 9, and I thought, wait a minute, there's a class this morning. I'm going to go on it. Yay. Oops. Oh, shoot.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
Oh, hi, Chris. Thank you. You know what? I'm so sorry I can't talk. I just got into a steno class. So, oh, thank you. Okay, love you. Bye. Sorry about that. I meant to say that I couldn't take the call, but then I answered the phone. That was my cousin. It's my birthday today, so
Happy birthday,
she said thank you,
Pandora.
thank you. So she's calling. Happy birthday! I'm going. I can't talk.
Oh,
So,
well, you'll have to call her back after the class.
Right. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I was
Look,
having and I don't know what was going on with my internet, but I finally just went and unplugged it and then plugged it back in, and then it seemed
okay.
So
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully we won't have any. Let me know if you find that I'm, pausing, or if you feel like there's a difficulty on my end. Let me know, because I once I unplugged my internet, plugged it back in, then it seemed to be fine. But
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just one of those days, where it's just
Gremlins.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh,
So, and I even checked
on me.
Yes. Yeah. So let me know. So
Okay.
all right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. And,
Okay.
And then I'll mute everybody, and then unmute you after class, and we'll talk, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Okay. Yes, glad everybody was able to connect, have fun. Yes, Robert, I was telling Pandora that I was having an internet issue, so I went in and disconnected and plugged it back in, and I noticed this morning that my phone, I looked on my phone, and the little rainbow that it shows when you have the internet, it wasn't showing up. So I don't know what was going on, but once I unplugged it, plugged it back in, it was fine. So we should be hopefully good to go. Yeah. Yep. All right, here we go. Ready? So common words. We'll get our fingers going. Ready? Him, his, got, over, make, may, received, before, to, send, after, waste, told, beg, against, returning, size, weak, wish, don't, thing, again, Mr., way, want, home, these, complete, box, shipped, those, furnish, shipment, down, van, long. All right. Moving into our next drill, this is going to focus on words that start with pre. So word families that have the prefix pre. Okay, so we've got prevent, preside, preserve, preclude, prefer, preview, prearrange, presume, prepare, prejudge, present, which is P-R-E-N-T, precede. And then here are your sentences. Did you prepare the documents? Please prepare something to eat. Who will preside over the meeting? Did Judge Gardner preside over this morning's proceedings? The store will preview its new fall line. We saw the preview showing of the movie. The medication will prevent headaches. And the brief for headache is H-long-A-K, hake. How can we prevent crime? Do you prefer red, green, or blue? I prefer to stay home. Try not to prejudge the testimony. The jury should not prejudge the evidence. Will this preclude you from attending the workshop? That decision will preclude the winner. I presume he is innocent. Do you presume he is guilty? Does the luncheon precede the meeting? Do you precede me in line? Al will prearrange the party. Can you preserve the flowers? We visited the wildlife preserve in Grove County. How many workers were present at the union meeting last Sunday, June 22nd, 2017? Did the candidate present his platform at the political rally at the convention center? All right, moving right into a phrase review, and you are going to hear the following phrases. May have been. So you can choose what you want to phrase there, either may have or have been. Have been is initial V, final B. About the, that was, in the, where the, very much, ask you, if he, too many, that he can. All right, here is your paragraph. I'm going to read this once at 60, again at 80, and again at 100, okay? It's very small. It's hardly even a paragraph. Here we go. You may have been told about the fire that was started in the state building. The main question to answer is where the blaze originated. The fire chief is very much interested in your investigation and may ask you some questions. If he contacts you, please be as helpful as possible. There aren't too many experts like yourself that he can rely on. All right. So if you do choose to phrase that he can, which is T-H-A-E-K, you just have to be careful because, you know, that's correct. It's going to be T-H-A-E-R-K. So just be careful there. All right. So now I'm going to read that again at 80. Here we go. You may have been told about the fire that was started in the state building. The main question to answer is where the blaze originated. The fire chief is very much interested in your investigation and may ask you some questions. If he contacts you, Please be as helpful as possible. There aren't too many experts like yourself that he can rely on. All right, last time at 100. Okay, here we go. You may have been told about the fire that was started in the state building. The main question to answer is where the fire blaze originated. The fire chief is very much interested in your investigation and may ask you some questions. If he contacts you, please be as helpful as possible. There aren't too many experts like yourself that he can rely on. All right. Moving right into a number drill. I'm going to give you some numbers first, and then I will read you the paragraph. Okay, so here are some numbers. 11,118,405. 34,490,012. 6,935,452. 20,461,938. 13,248,754. 1,218,960. All right, now here is your paragraph. I'm going to read this at 60. It's a little on the challenging side. Lots of numbers. Here we go. The election votes were counted on Friday from District 118 and 140. Precinct 118 had a total of 1,550,992 votes cast. The Republican Party received 1,500,000 votes, and the Democratic Party received 55,090 votes. Precinct 140 had a total of 2,776,305 votes cast. The Republican Party received 714,210 votes, and the Democratic Party received 2,060,091 votes. All right. I'm going to give you a jury charge drill. And we're going to focus on some jury charge briefs, and I'm going to give you sentences for each of them. So we're going to start off with contrary. All right, so contrary is K-R-A-E-R. You may have another way to write it, which is fine. We're going to hear contributory negligence, which is TREG, T-R-E-G. Counsel, K-O-U-N. Credible, K-R-E-B-L. Credibility, K-R-E-B-L-T. Or some people like to just write it as K-R-E-D come back for BILT or final BLT. So you have a choice there. I like to personally write it as KREBLT. All right, so let's start with contrary, KRAER. Here we go. Contrary to his earlier statement, he was there. If you are so contrary, you will lengthen the trial. Your testimony is contrary to that in the deposition. That whole concept is contrary to my belief. Okay, contributory negligence, TREG. Contributory negligence is not a factor here. He was accused of contributory negligence. The defense will attempt to prove contributory negligence. Contributory negligence tempered the amount of his award. All right, counsel, K-O-U-N. He is represented by counsel. Counsel pleaded the case brilliantly. Her counsel asked to be removed from the case. Hand the document to counsel. She needs to seek counseling. He counseled the couple yesterday. Counselor, which I write that as K-O-U-N-L, will you approach the bench? He counsels the students at registration. All right, credible, K-R-E-B-L. It was a credible story. His version of the accident was credible. She gave a credible account. Your statements must be credible. Credibility, K-R-E-B-L-T. His credibility was questioned by the judge. The credibility of their actions was in doubt. Our credibility must not be questioned. The government's credibility has been shaken. And has been is just H-A final B. All right. I love those briefs because they do come up often. All right, so we're going to do one final drill and then move right into some literary. All right. This is going to focus on dates and times. All right. Here we go. Her plane is due at 12:30 p.m. The document is dated 7/1/09. We built the house in 84. It starts at 7 o'clock. The meeting begins at 1:45 p.m. sharp. The exhibit is dated 6/2/01. Mia Chris was born in 95. Is it 7:30 p.m. or 7:30 a.m.? I graduated from Yale in 1996. Be here promptly at 9:30 a.m. The escrow opened on 12/29/01. Our 71 vacation was great. The session convenes at 7:30 p.m. The original is dated 2/1/13. My father retired in 2005. All right. We're going to go right into some literary. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do the jury charge first. I feel like jury charge is always a little bit easier than literary, so we'll do jury charge first. Okay, so let me give you some words that you're going to hear with this jury charge. You're going to hear testimony, prejudice, caprice. You're going to hear the phrase that you are. You can phrase that whole thing. Conformity, misrecollection, innocent, initial N, final NT, discredited, failure, necessarily. I write that as NEZ, come back for LAE. Conviction, entitled. You're going to hear witness, initial W, final NS, convincing. Let's see here. I think that's about it. Oh, significance. I don't have a brief for that. I write that out. All right. So I will start this. This is a full page. So I'm going to start this at 60 and I'll work my way to 100. That's perfect because there's actually 3 paragraphs. So first paragraph will be at 60, then again in the second paragraph at 80, and then the last paragraph I'll pick it up to 100. Okay. Oh, and then you're going to hear discrepancies. I write that as screp. Yeah, significance I don't have a brief for, but discrepancies you can do screp. Okay. All right, here we go. Discrepancies in a witness's testimony or between his testimony and that of others, if there was any, do not necessarily mean that the witness should be discredited. Failure of recollection is not or can be a common experience, and innocent misrecollection is not uncommon. Also, it is a fact that 2 persons witnessing an incident or a transaction often will see or hear it differently, whether a discrepancy pertains to a fact of importance or only to a trivial detail should be considered in weighing its significance. You are not bound to decide in conformity with the testimony of a number of witnesses that does not produce conviction in your mind as against the testimony of a lesser number or other evidence that appeals to your mind with more convincing force. This does not mean that you are at liberty to disregard the testimony of the greater number of witnesses merely from caprice or prejudice or from a desire to favor one side as against the other. It does mean that you are not to decide an issue by the simple process of counting the number of witnesses who have testified on the opposing sides. It means that the final test is not in the relative number of witnesses, but in the relative convincing force of the evidence. Remember that you are not bound to decide any question of fact according to the testimony of a large number of witnesses as against a lesser number of witnesses when such evidence does not produce conviction in your mind. The test to be given to testimony is not merely the number of witnesses, but rather the weight to which the testimony of such witness or witnesses is entitled. All right. So we're going to go right into literary. And let's see, the subject here is the metals, part 4. How are we doing on time? Good. So I'm going to give you a word list. I think I'm going to read this once at 60, again at 80, and again at 100, because it really is only about a paragraph long, so it's perfect. All right, so you're going to hear mercury, enduring, fluorescent, vacuum, platinum, alloys, denser, barometer, gauges, centigrade, artificial, vapor, liquid, electrical, nuclear, thermometer, ultraviolet, gold, electronics, conductor. All right, so this is going to be at 60. Here we go. The only metal that is liquid at room temperature is mercury, sometimes called quicksilver. Mercury is 13.5 times denser than water, and actually the heaviest liquid known. Mercury is used in instruments of measurement such as thermometers, barometers, and vacuum gauges. The mercury vapor discharge is a good source of ultraviolet light used in fluorescent lamps. Platinum is stronger and harder than gold. It melts at a higher temperature than gold, 1,773.5 degrees centigrade. Platinum is a good electrical conductor because it is very expensive and has an enduring quality. Jewelry is frequently fashioned from platinum. In surgery, Platinum with its alloys is used for artificial bones in this age of nuclear science and electronics. Many metals are finding new applications that are sure to improve our standard of living. All right, so I will read that again at 80. Okay, here we go. Ready? The only metal that is liquid at room temperature is mercury, sometimes called quicksilver. Mercury is 13.5 times denser than water, and actually the heaviest liquid known. Mercury is used in instruments of measurement such as thermometers, barometers, and vacuum gauges. The mercury vapor discharge is a good source of ultraviolet light used in fluorescent lamps. Platinum is stronger and harder than gold. It melts at a higher temperature than gold, 1,773.5 degrees centigrade. Platinum is a good electrical conductor because it is very expensive and has an enduring quality. Jewelry is frequently fashioned from platinum. In surgery, platinum with its alloys is used for artificial bones. In this age of nuclear science and electronics, many metals are finding new applications that are sure to improve our standard of living. All right, last time at 100. Here we go. The only metal that is liquid at room temperature is mercury, sometimes called quicksilver. Mercury is 13.5 times denser than water, and actually the heaviest liquid known. Mercury is used in instruments of measurement, such as thermometers, barometers, and vacuum gauges. The mercury vapor discharge is a good source of ultraviolet light used in fluorescent lamps. Platinum is stronger and harder than gold. It melts at a higher temperature than gold, 1,773.5 degrees centigrade. Platinum is a good electrical conductor because it is very expensive and has an enduring quality. Jewelry is frequently fashioned from platinum. In surgery, platinum with its alloys is used for artificial bones. In this age of nuclear science and electronics, many metals are finding new applications that are sure to improve our standard of living. All right. Now we'll go right into Q&A. Okay. This is going to strictly be the plaintiff questioning. Okay. So we'll start off with just strict Q&A, which will be nice to kind of get our fingers going with the light board. And then I'll go into some for voice. Okay. All right, so let me give you a word list here. You're going to hear Charles Rosen, Laguna Beach, Jim Lawrence, San Francisco, smuggling, cocaine, conversation, United States, feasibility, logistics, endeavor, narcotics, conspiracy, exploring, scamming, arrangements, travel, postpone, nature. That's about it. Okay. All right. So strict Q&A, plaintiff. Here we go. And just so you know, I'm going to start at 60 and work my way to 100, okay? All right, here we go. Do you know a man named Charles Rosen? Yes, sir, I do. Where did you first meet Mr. Rosen? Socially, in Laguna Beach about 2 years ago. Do you know Jim Lawrence? Yes, I do. Where did you first meet Mr. Lawrence? I believe in December. To the best of my recollection, in San Francisco. Was anybody else present at that meeting? Yes. Who was that? Charles Rosen. Do you see in the courtroom today the man who you knew as Jim Lawrence? Yes, I do. I would like to direct your attention now to December. During that month, did you speak with Mr. Lawrence about smuggling cocaine? Yes, sir, I did. Would you describe where that conversation took place? To the best of my recollection, in Charles Rosen's apartment in San Francisco. And was anybody else present at that conversation? Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Rosen. What in substance was said during that conversation? We discussed the feasibility of smuggling cocaine into the United States. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. We discussed the feasibility of smuggling cocaine into the United States, the financing, and the logistics. What did Mr. Lawrence say about the feasibility of smuggling cocaine into the United States? To the best of my recollection, Mr. Lawrence stated at that time that he had participated in a successful endeavor and was interested in exploring the potential for further trips. What role, if any, were you to play in this narcotics conspiracy? I was to be the smuggler. And were you to do anything else? To the best of my recollection, I was to smuggle and possibly to warehouse some portion of the drugs that we smuggled in. Were you to obtain other persons to participate in the scheme? Yes, sir, I was. Would you describe what that was supposed to be? I was to put together a team. We were to set up the routing and make all the travel arrangements necessary to expedite the smuggling. What was Mr. Lawrence going to do in this conspiracy? Mr. Lawrence was involved in the scamming end of it. Would you explain what that means? In procuring the drugs, did he have any other role? To the best of my recollection, that was his role. Was he going to be involved in financing the narcotics purchase? I believe that would have been part of his role, yes, to the best of my recollection. What role was Mr. Rosen to play? A similar role. Did you take Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Rosen up on their offer extended to you in December? No, sir, I did not. Did you reject it immediately? I told Mr. Rosen and Mr. Lawrence that I would go home and consider their offer. I did so consider it and decided to postpone acting upon it at that point. And why did you postpone acting upon it? Because another offer was made to me immediately upon my arrival home, and I decided to act on that offer. And what was the nature of that offer? It was of a similar nature to smuggle. Smuggle what? To smuggle cocaine. And were Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Rosen involved in that trip? No, sir, they were not. And what again was discussed in the next meeting you had? All the necessary planning arrangements that had to be made. So about the last half was read at 100. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into some for voice. Okay, how are we doing on time? Perfect, we have enough time for some for voice. Let me give you a word list. You're going to hear David Carl, Johnson, Broadway, Atlanta, Georgia, Nelson, Essence, Accounting, Augusta, Savannah, Brian Smith, Jungle, Wholesale, Nursery, Greenhouse, Cheap, Overgrown, Mackin. All right, so this is going to start off with plaintiff, but the court and defense both jump in. Okay, so it's primarily plaintiff questioning, but the other two jump in as well. Okay, all right, so again, we're going to start at 60, work our way to 100. Here we go. Ready? What is your full name? David Carl Johnson. And what is your present home address? 1408 Broadway, Atlanta, Georgia. What is your telephone number there? Well, my cell is 550-7478. Area code 404. How long have you lived in Atlanta, Georgia? For the last year. Where did you live prior to that? Here in Mackin. Did you ever have an occasion to meet a person by the name of Brian Smith? Yes. When did you first have occasion to meet Brian Smith? In 2006. Did you ever negotiate with Brian Smith to go into a business with him? Yes, I did. What type of business was that? The wholesale nursery business. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't hear the witness. Can you repeat your answer? But we need you to speak loud and clear. Sorry, the wholesale nursery business. Thank you. When did that take place? That was in December, the 1st of December, 2008. Can you tell me where that discussion took place and what the essence of that discussion was? Well, Brian had told me that he had found through an ad on the internet a greenhouse that he thought would be a good deal, and he would like to go into the business. We sat down and talked about it and figured out how we would do it. What else was discussed at that time, if anything? Well, I don't remember anything about the details that we discussed, but we did look at a nursery greenhouse. Where was that greenhouse? in Augusta. I don't know the exact street address, but it was on Savannah Road. Did you visit the greenhouse? Yes. What did you observe at that time? I observed what looked like a jungle that nobody could get through at the time. It was completely overgrown. Who was with you at that time? Brian. Did you speak with anybody at that time at the greenhouse? Well, not the first day we went to look at it, but the next day we did. Whom did you speak with then? It was a Mr. Nelson. Did you have any discussion with Mr. Nelson at that time? Yes, we talked to him. We wanted to find out more about the business and to get the records of the business to find out if they were making money. What did he say to you at that time? And what did he do? He looked at his records and said that he didn't have the complete accounting records for the business on hand, and that at the time he couldn't help us. Did he do any searching at all? How much time did he take to look? We were in his office for a couple of hours while he was on his computer, and then we came back a couple of other times when he was still looking. But at that time, what did he state to you? At that time, he stated to us that he didn't have the records of all of the plants. He didn't even know what he had in inventory at that time. Was anything else said about this meeting where you and Mr. Smith were present with Mr. Nelson about the business? Yes, Mr. Nelson indicated to us that he was willing to sell the business to us real cheap, as he put it. What do you think he meant by that? He said he had a lot of bills to pay that his wife had left him, and he just wanted to get out from under the business. Did he actually give you a selling price? No, he said he would take $25,000 down and we could pay the rest later. Excuse me, gentlemen, we need to take our afternoon break. Let me see here. All right, Pandora, would you like me to go back and read this Q&A, just so you could follow along and see how you did?
You mean on my English or
no, just
on my
on
machine?
Like on your machine, like looking at. I could just read QA and tell you. It's totally up to you.
Do you want me to read back what I have?
You don't have to. It's totally up to you. What would you like to do? I mean, we don't have to do any of it. I just have, I because I started at 60, worked my way to 80, and worked my way to 100. So I just, sometimes I think that as students, especially online, well, everything is now, you can see it. I think a lot of times students are really hard on themselves because if they can't see, if every word doesn't, come out and show up in their dictionary, they feel like, oh, I bombed it because there's just so many untranslates. But as long as you can read what you wrote, then you're writing the speed. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I could probably do it. I'm just really rusty.
Yes.
I mean, I probably haven't touched my machine in probably about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been a struggle. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe having live classes will help,
Oh, yeah. And well, I need to get into them and I need to practice more. I mean, my thing too is that even when you were reading 100, it seemed slow, but I'm guessing on even some of the briefs, you know what I mean? And and when you were doing the pre-words, I know some of those are briefs, but my brain wasn't thinking, and I was doing PRE before everything, except for like present or something, so I really need to get into it and practice more, and I just haven't done that.
Okay.
So
No
I've
worries.
been,
I didn't know that you had taken a little break, so no worries. We won't do that today, but obviously, I can do this anytime. Maybe. Well, it's great because he just added, three extra live classes a week, one for low, mid, and high. I'm sure you saw that. So, even if the mid speeds, even if it's a little push for you, just tell yourself, like, I'll get what I get, and if I have to drop, I drop.
Yep.
So, I think this is going to be very helpful to students that have a hard time, watching recorded classes and making themselves put in their time,
Yeah. Live really does help a lot. And what I need to do, because at first, when you went to live classes, I thought, oh, Monday nights, I can do that. Well, I'm just getting home and I always forget it, and I start dinner and then I forget about it. But I'm off on Tuesdays, and what I need to do is put it on my calendar or something and say, okay, there's a class this morning. I'm going to, go to it because it's a really good time to do it. Yeah.
Put it on your refrigerator, like anywhere on your mirror in your bathroom, so you don't forget, and and you'll get into a rhythm. And usually Robin is she's always usually on vacation, but
oh, is she? Okay.
But you'll usually see her in here, and I think it's just good for the camaraderie, and just to know that there's you see other students, and I know it's just you and I, but or if you have questions or you need a pep talk or whatever,
you can give me a pep talk anytime, Jill. I need it.
Well, anytime. I mean, if you ever have questions or you just need you feel like you're just kind of in a slump or whatever, I didn't know you were off your machine for a couple weeks, so I need to reach out to you and see how things are going, and but that's okay. Every once in a while we need that. We need to just kind of take a step back and and just kind of reset, and and here you are on your birthday, so back on your machine, which is awesome.
No,
I didn't know you had a Halloween birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So I'm sure when you were a kid, it was always a party, huh? On your birthday.
Yeah. I think I would have preferred springtime, but oh well.
Yeah.
What can I say? I'm so thankful that it's cool out today instead of hot. I just wish it would rain too. That's my idea of a nice birthday, is cool, crisp, and rainy.
Yes.
So, and breezy, but
yes.
What can I do? I'll take what I've got.
Yes, at least it's cool today. And I did hear we're supposed to rain next week, so I think
I'll just celebrate belatedly.
Yeah, that's right. just kind of spread it out. That's what I like to do.
Yeah. Why not?
Right. That's right. Well, Pandora, I hope you have a wonderful
Oh,
birthday.
I will. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining, and
Absolutely. It
yeah,
felt good.
I'm
It
so
felt really
glad.
good,
I'm
you
so
know.
glad. I'm so glad to
And
see you back.
it's I don't want to hold you and everything, but it's really interesting because you kind of get used to being off, and then yesterday when and I just haven't had any motivation, and yesterday when I went to go get my son from school, I always pick up his friend too and like drive him over to where his mom is going to be, and he was asking me something about steno yesterday, and well, what is it, is it just like, and I was trying to explain to him what it is and how it's like a different language, and your machine doesn't have all the letters on it, and it made me feel good and miss it, so
Yes,
I felt knowledgeable and somebody who didn't know what it was, and so
that's
yeah.
that kind of sparked that. Gave you your spark back to get on
Yeah.
the scene. Yeah, it
Yep.
it is. It's you're meant for it if you find yourself missing it. Taking a
Yeah.
break and you miss it. Yep.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
right. Or
Just
or if you're listening to somebody speak like a speaker and you're thinking about how you would write that. Those are all,
mm-hmm.
clues
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, this is for me because you do hear some people that say, "Oh, I hate being on my machine. I don't want to be on my machine and I don't like it. I don't enjoy it." And then that it's just not for them.
And sometimes I don't. I mean, I'll go and watch like a recorded class, and if it's too hard, I just think, you know what, I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a matter. And I think it wouldn't be too hard if I practiced more. I need to go back to my theory lessons. I know that Nora was saying she practices, she even goes back to lesson 1
Yeah.
and does it, which is what, just letters and all. Um and does it like 3 times, like we had to in homework,
Yeah.
and then submit it. And sometimes I think that's what I should do in some of my speed building books in the lessons too, is just do it 3 times. I almost miss having the accountability of having to turn it in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm being pushed to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, anyway.
Well, I'll bug you if you want me to.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
will.
Say, you know
I,
what? That's due. No,
uh,
please.
I will. I
I
will.
would love that. And say, you know what? And then maybe even require me to do a test once in a while or
Okay.
something. I don't
Okay.
know. Be my mentor, Jill.
I
I
will.
need it.
I
We've talked
will.
about this.
I will. And you
So
can turn in a test every week to
I
be
know.
graded. So I will. I'm going to bug you then. I'm going to say, okay, turn it
Okay.
in and I'll grade it. And I'll grade the punctuation part of it. And then you
Oh
can
dear.
kind of, but that's
Well,
okay.
it's been so long too, and the thing that I don't like about this, and then it always makes me go back and still be mad about Sage, is that I miss my oh, what was the class with Linda Hagen, the transcript
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
class, and all, and even some of my translates aren't this like what they should be now, but like with numbers and years and things like that, and I don't know. I still have to get used to, because I'm not on Eclipse anymore. I'm on Case.
Oh, you're on case.
So
Okay.
yeah. And I know that I can call Robert, but it's just easier to sit and be lazy at home. And,
Yeah.
I'm constantly having to go somewhere in the car. I was just telling my husband yesterday, I said, I want to sit down and have time for I don't want to just sit down for an hour. I want to sit down longer than that and work on it and, straight. And I can't do that because I'm driving somebody and we only have one car, and yeah,
Right.
so it's difficult, but some of it is that I'm just making excuses and I need to buckle down and do it.
And just remember, an hour on your machine is better than
I
nothing.
know.
You know,
Yeah, I
I
know.
know. I know what you probably feel like, okay, I want to put in 3 hours, but if you're getting an hour in, think about it, at Sage, that would have been a full speed class. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then think
Right.
of it as, okay, I'm going to take a little break because I have to get in my car and go.
Yep.
just put in a full class, you know, in an hour. So,
Yep.
so
I will.
okay.
Bug me.
Okay,
Bug
I
me,
will.
but do it nice.
Oh, I will. I won't be mean. I don't know how to be mean.
I know you don't.
All right, Pandora. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. I'll talk
All
to
right,
you
Jill.
soon. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.